Yo, so I got bored and made 100K last year. And no, before I click off, I don't do drop shipping, I don't do SMMA, and I did it all in this room that you're seeing right now at 18 years old, last year. Today, I'm 19. And I did it all without selling my soul. I didn't hustle 24/7, I didn't grind 24/7, I didn't do all of those different things. Because when you get started in this space, you get so many guys and so many gurus telling you that you need to work 12-hour days, you need to sleep 30 minutes a night, right? Instead, what I did was actually live my life. And I found it funny because when I was growing from like my first 1K dollars up until to like my 10K, 100K, I actually worked less. I started working like 3-hour days, 4-hour days when it was less. So I did it all in just 1 year. And today, in this video, I'm going to show you how. So if you stick around, I'll tell you exactly what business model I run and how you can get started too. But anyways, let's start with my story first. So it all started from one night, actually. It all started from one night. So one day I woke up and I told myself I'm bored. And it wasn't some gradual thing either. It was like literally an overnight switch. And how that happened was because of the night before, right? Because it's overnight. So the night before, I was scrolling through YouTube, right? I was watching some YouTube random videos. I think I was watching some um Ark videos, the dinosaur game. And I saw a video. It was like so random, but it talked about like how this SMMA something made like 7K a month, right? How this agency made 7K a month. And so I clicked on that video. And honestly, I was starting to get bored. And so I watched the video and I was about to click off until I got to the middle part where the guy started explaining what his business was actually doing. And honestly, it was so simple. And obviously, I was still a bit skeptical, but the way that he explained it actually made so much sense. Like to start your business, you just start a niche, do something valuable, offer something valuable, and sell it, right? And you make money. It was so simple that my mind started to like form new stuff in my brain. And yeah, so I started thinking about like, is this actually possible? Is this real? And so I looked through the channel of that guy. And the channel who uploaded that video was actually Iman Gadzi. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that guy already. So I started looking through his videos, and let me tell you, whether you like him or not, his videos back then were actually good. So I watched his videos, and safe to say I got brainwashed, in a good way. Because before I thought business was just this thing where you had to like do boring documents, file tax, that sort of thing. But after going through Iman, it was actually the opposite. Like you could live a life that you've always wanted if you just run your business correctly. But the problem was so many other guys on YouTube was telling people that in order to live like this, you need to like work really, really hard for it. And that's kind of true. You do kind of have to work hard for it, but you don't need to like sell your soul for it. And so I started binge watching more of his videos, Iman's videos, and I started getting deep into business. And then it came to a point in that night, I suddenly got very tired, so I just slept. But when I woke up, I remember this, I got bored. I just told myself something along the lines of, I'm bored. And that pretty much started everything for me. So over the next few years, I started 4 businesses, five. I started like 4 to 5 businesses, and I'll try to remember like all of them too. So the first business that I've ever started was an Instagram theme page account. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like the theme page account where you post quotes or like something inspirational. It was very horrible. I think I could have done better by running a meme page. But anyways, that's the first business I did. As you can tell, it failed. And I sold the account for $50, even though I had a lot of followers. So, anyways, next business that comes is SMMA. Figured if Iman did it, why shouldn't I? So, anyways, I started SMMA. I pirated a course from Iman. I forgot what it's called, but I pirated this SMMA course. And I started learning every single day, right? And it was fun. Something like fueled me when I was doing that. And so I learned. And eventually I got to the execution stage where you send cold DMs and start to get clients, right? That's what I did. So I started sending cold DMs, and a few days passed. A few days passed. I think I've sent like a total of 900 DMs, and I didn't get a single reply. Like for some reason, I didn't get a single reply, and so I quit. And after that, you know, I found that I actually loved selling products. I loved selling things and building things, that sort of thing. I learned that through SMMA. And so the next obvious thing that I did was, instead of focusing on selling first, which I did on SMMA, let me focus on the product first. So what I did was I started an ebook business. And the first book that I sold and wrote was about studying. It was like how to study better in less time, which was pretty ironic because I dropped out of college after starting this business. But that's a different story for another day. And so, anyways, I started that business. I started the ebook business. And for the first few days, nothing happened. I showed it to my mom, she bought it, and I showed it to her friends, they also bought it, and that was really cool. But no like new traffic. Until a few days pass, like it was like 1 week later, I think, someone buys the book, like someone random. And I remember asking my mom and her friends, like, did you buy this? Did you buy this? I even asked my dad, like, did you buy this? Did you buy my book? And they all said no. And that screenshot, I'm going to show you the screenshot now. That first purchase of someone buying my stuff actually started everything for me. Like I sold my account back then, but it didn't really feel like I made that thing, because that wasn't my end goal. But here, my end goal was to actually sell the ebook. And so I sold the ebook, and that was like the start of everything for me, man. If you could see the excitement on my face, it was like you could make money out of thin air. And so that's what I did. I sold the ebook. And for a few days past, nothing really happens. Few weeks past, maybe I get like 1 to 2 sales, and it was only like $15. So it wasn't that much. And so eventually I thought to myself, hey, I've been working hard on my stuff, but I'm not getting like big results. And so I started thinking, like, is this really what I wanted to do? Like sell ebooks and sell stuff. I like to sell. I like to make products and I like to help people, but it wasn't working. Like it wasn't growing. So I quit. I quit that business after like a month. And I immediately started a new business again, and it was selling something more in demand. So studying ebooks, they weren't that in demand. What people wanted nowadays is like something more modern, right? So one thing that came to my mind are Notion templates. You see all of people nowadays here using Notion. If you don't know what Notion is, it's basically like a productivity planner that you can use for school, for your life, or business, or anything like that. And so I used Notion. I sold Notion. And so I hired a few people on Fiverr to make Notion. My girlfriend helped me out a bit on hiring people. She really did a lot of the work when it comes to making the template and stuff like that. I did the selling. And so we sold it. And just like the ebook, within the first few week or so, we got our first few sales. And the dopamine started again. It started kicking in again because I got a lot of sales. And so when that happened, I started like improving my products. I started improving how I did my marketing back then. And it worked. From our first few sales in the beginning turned into like thousands of sales within the next few months, which was crazy. It was like I felt like I won the lottery there, from like $20 sales to $100 sales to $1,000 sales to a few $1,000 sales. It all happened within just a span of a few months. It was insane. And so I love doing it, right? I love the money. I love doing it. So I kept doing that. I kept selling the Notion templates until eventually I saw, like, I think it was a quote or something like that on YouTube, and it talked about like, um, do you see yourself doing this in the next like 3 to 5 years? And I told my girlfriend that, and you know, I actually didn't see myself selling Notion templates in the next 3 to 5 years. The money was nice, like the money that I got from selling it was nice, but I didn't enjoy the Notion templates. Like I didn't enjoy selling that stuff. And so I didn't quit, but I still continued selling it. But I just started to work on other things. And now we arrive at my fifth business. So the next business that I start was actually the business that made me 100K last year. To be more specific, it made me 120K, as you can see. And this business, let me tell you, it was just something random. It wasn't something that I planned. It wasn't something that I originally wanted to do, but I just started it because I saw a video on YouTube from another guy who was doing it. And so why the hell not, you know? And so the business that I started was a personal brand. And a personal brand in and itself isn't really a business, right? But I turned it into a business by using this strategy called build in public. Now, build in public, as you might have guessed, is a strategy where you use your real name, your real photo, and you, right? You use your personal self, as the name suggests, personal brand. And you put it on a platform somewhere. The platform that I chose was X, formerly Twitter. And before, I thought Twitter was just all memes and politics, like cat pics, stuff like that. Actually, turns out it was something much more. And I got sucked into the side of like Money X. They call it Money X. Basically, this is the space where people, business owners make money, personal brands make money, people sell services, stuff like that. And so I got stuck into that niche. I got sucked into that niche. And at the start, it was like pretty unbelievable because you see people with like 500 followers getting clients, closing $1,000 deals. And so I was also pretty skeptical at that part at the start. But eventually I learned how to um do it myself. I learned how they were doing all of these different things, right? I started my brand, I used my real name, right? My photo, and I started going on that platform. And basically, what you do there on the platform is basically just build in public. So document your progress, how you started, and sell your advice. So that's what I did. The most obvious thing that I wanted to sell back then was my writing, because after doing like my product businesses from Notion and the ebook thing, I learned that I really love to write, right? I love to write from writing my ebook, and I love to sell from selling those two things. So that's what I did. I sold writing advice. And within just a month of starting on X, people actually bought my advice. They bought my writing and personal branding advice. And that's how it basically started. I closed my first client back in January 2024, and it was for $500. And honestly, that meant more to me than the thousands of dollars I generated on Notion, right? Selling the templates, because I used to sell only $20 products, but that payment was a one time $500 payment. It was really big compared to like getting $20 payments. And so that's how it started. During the next few months, built in public and I documented my journey more. I started posting more about my journey, how I signed clients, how I help people with my advice, and the momentum really started building up. Like you can see here on my account, you can see that people started making posts about me, people started talking to me more, people started liking my posts more, and I grew, and as I grew, I still leverage the build in public strategy, because this strategy basically it's my entire content marketing business, whatever strategy. You just share people what you have done and what you have helped people with, and you grow from that, right? It's kind of amazing because other strategies, they kind of force you to give out value 24/7. They force you to be a teacher, right? They force you to keep teaching people, keep doing this, keep doing this. And that's how you burn out, right? But with build in public, you just document your strategy, and that's kind of your value already. And so that's what I did. I documented my strategy, and eventually, that $500 client turned into $1,000 a month clients. And from making like 2K a month on my first month, I think, I made like 4K a month the next month, then 6K a month, then 8K a month, then eventually I reached 10K a month. Eventually, I got to November, right? And on November, that's when I got my first 100K in revenue. And it was actually crazy, because 100K in revenue, when most people tell you that, it's not 100K. Because if you do drop shipping, for example, that 100K is actually only like 5K, right? Because the profit margins are so low. But here in this business, where you give people your advice and sell it, your profit margins are so high. Because if you think about it, what do you pay for, right? You don't pay someone else to give out your advice. You don't pay for ads because your entire content is built in public, right? Like you can see here with my content. You don't pay people to help you because the delivery time is so low. Like you don't need to hire people to write for you. Don't need to hire people to close deals for you. It's really easy. And building in public um part of what building in public does so well is it does all of the hard work for you. Like it does the selling for you, right? Because if you've built a brand and people have seen it, right? People have seen your entire journey of you documenting it, then why would they still need to hop on multiple calls with you to close a deal, right? Chances are they already know everything about you. They already know your journey, what you are capable of, and what you can help with, simply by just using this build in public strategy, right? And by doing that, they'll just hop on a call with you or even just a text message and you close the deal. You don't have to stress about multiple emails, multiple calls, multiple stuff like that. You just close the deal. You just talk to them for a few minutes and close the deal. And anyways, I won't get into the technical side of things right now, but that's how I basically started and built my entire business. It's the entire personal branding and applying the build in public strategy. Now, that strategy worked for me extremely well. And if you want like a video on how I did the technical side of things there, like how I actually built my brand, how I made offers, how I signed clients, how I did everything, then you can check out this video here or thing right there. I'm not the YouTuber. I don't know where the links are, where it will appear there, but it's also in the description. So you can check it out there to see how I built it, right? But anyways, um I'm going to leave you guys with one thing here, and let me tell you, it's not really hard. That doesn't mean that it didn't work for this entire thing, no. But it's not like devilishly hard compared to like what some other people tell you. If you can write well, like if you can write decently, I started out not that good. If you can write decently, and if you have something valuable, right? Like if you have a skill to offer, whether that's like fitness, whether that's writing, like me, whether that's teaching people about brands, whether that's design, coding, anything that you are good at. And don't tell me you're not good at anything. Everyone's good at something. You just haven't found it yet. And that's kind of your job, as a coach or as someone who sells advice or helps people. Your goal is to like help people verbalize what they haven't verbalized yet. In my case, a lot of people needed writing advice, but they didn't know that they needed writing advice. So that's what I sold, and that's what I showed people, right? Like I paved the way for people to start like writing better. And eventually I started selling different advice. People loved me for my personal branding. So I sold that advice. People loved me for getting clients, right? So I sold that advice. So that's pretty much how I did it. Nowadays I help people mostly with brand growth and starting this entire thing with monetization. I'm not really writing anymore. So eventually once you do get to the stage, you can start to sell different things. But that's all up to you. If you want to sell fitness for your entire journey, then go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Just stick to a niche, right? Don't go jumping over different things unless you really want to. But anyways, that's it from me. And like I said, if you want like a guide on how to do this entire thing, then check out the link in the description. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, talk soon and yeah.